Got Your Back pod stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
Yes, garbage bag day for the players. I don't think they use garbage bags anymore. There actually was a time when you can actually see players packing their stuff up in garbage bags and leaving the rink. A couple of days after the loss, the Oilers gathered one last time as a group, did their medicals, and headed on out of town. And of course, last media availabilities. That is where Connor McDavid sat down and addressed the upcoming contract negotiation. We're going to dive into that conversation, and we're going to go in depth here in our top segment about the McDavid contract. Struddy is here. Brownie is here. And we got Zuby as well. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. We're live on X, live on YouTube. I think we're live on Facebook and Twitch too. And as always, this fantastic program brought to you by Play Alberta, where it's always game time. Bet on sports. Find your new favorite slot. Hit the tables. Play on a virtual table with a live dealer. Grab your lottery tickets and do it all safely with responsible gambling tools that help keep you safe. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB06. Visit playalberta.ca. I know not ideal timing for the pod tonight, but everybody's busy and everybody's got stuff on the go, so we're going to keep an eye on everything else that's going on in the sporting world tonight, but we had to bang one out here tonight because it was an important night. I'm coming at you from my Adrenaline Diesel studio. It's a Caterpillar recognized and authorized dealer and repair facility for expert service for your Cat engine. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. And I am sad to report, gentlemen, this will be the last pod of the season with the whole crew all together, because somebody didn't get the memo and is leaving town before the end of June. Struddy on a plane as of tomorrow, which, might I remind you, might have been Game 7.
Yeah, okay, let's start it out. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Apology accepted from all of you guys. I get it.
What are you talking about?
Apology accepted. I hear you loud and clear, guys. I hear you loud and clear, the three amigos. No, it is. It is actually my last one. We have a tight window here to go on a trip. My wife and I are turning 50. And so we squeaked a trip over to Europe here with my wife and my kids. Happy to say I've got the Eurocut Speedo ready to go. I'll send you guys pictures. Don't worry. Full frontal.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what's more surprising, that he booked a trip on Game 7 or that he's only now turning 50. I thought you were like well over 50 by now. No?
Yeah.
I knew that your lovely wife was just barely in her 40s, but I thought like she had married much older. So no, I'm shocked by that.
I think the takeaway here is you were not expecting the series to get to Game 7, so you booked a trip. You basically bet against the Oilers and booked this trip, thinking that the season would be over and they would be done, Struds. You were not a believer, just like you were not a believer in the first round, and you bet against them.
I 100% bet against. I didn't bet against them, but I thought that they'd lose to the Kings. But I was the one who said Oilers in 5 over Florida, and I was wildly optimistic in that one. But yeah, I'm off for a couple weeks. So you guys will have to get the work done. Zuby.
Freddie, you could have just said it was a last minute deal that you got on whatever their travel center or something. Last minute deal to Greece, and as soon as the Oilers were gone, you had to take a little self-care, take care of yourself and the wife. But you could have buried it.
Yeah, that would have been the right move. Drop that in right after the game. Right after the game Tuesday.
Oh, man. That would have been so bad if we were doing a Game 7 pod and you were on a plane. Kayla Weethorn says, can Struddy's full frontal Speedo pick be his fill-in for the square on the pod while he's gone?
Oh, goodness.
We will not be doing that.
I'll see what I can do tastefully in the AI world, maybe, and I'll shine your abs up nice too, Struddy.
I'll send it. I'll send you a pic. I'll send you the pic. You're gonna love it, Zuby. It'll be classy. It's a classy look. I'll fit in. Everyone wears them over there. I got a sense of what they can look like, and I got a set.
I'll show it to my wife. I'll show it to my wife.
Oh, goodness sakes. Brownie, you're leaving too. You booked a trip too.
What?
Where are you going?
But I booked way after the season was already over. I'm going to Halifax.
You're leaving on Sunday.
The season's good.
Free agency.
It would have been over on
gone?
Friday. I'm going to Halifax. There's 12 of us, or 13 of us flying to Halifax for a golf trip. And then off to the lake.
You'll be in great shape.
Then off to Disneyland in a couple of weeks too. So we got some stuff going on, the Brown family.
All right.
It's kind of hard to book stuff when the Oilers play so long. I was around when the Oilers were only playing till April 10th every year. They're really cutting into my summer schedule now.
Right.
So,
well, we'll have a got your back management meeting, and then we'll put some parameters in place for what the acceptable holiday window is. You guys right now, you're like the guy who misses the Stanley Cup Final game because his wife is giving birth, and nobody is going to say it, but everybody's thinking like, dude, there's a window of time in which, I mean, I know you can't always call your shot and control it, but if you're a pro hockey player on a contending team, don't you maybe go dark for that period of time where 9 months later you might end up in that situation? I don't know. Is that something you would think of?
Well, Schauger, as a married man, you take it when you get it. And if that's the only opportunity, you're saying yes. And 9 months later, you may have to miss a playoff game, but you still have to say yes. So I disagree with you on that one.
Shoggy, listen, buddy, I agree. We'll sit down with Brownie and have a good heart-to-heart with him. We'll talk to him.
Yeah, because he's the problem here, Struds. EM says, Rishaug, you're overpaying your team. Agreed. Taking these fancy trips, poor cap management. Terrible cap management. Terrible. Yeah. Zuby, you're getting a bigger share next year, buddy. You're grinding. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, thank goodness, because I got bills piling up right now. So
I'm not sure that's big cap management. You just talked about overpaying two guys, and now you're going to give the other guy more money. This is how you get yourself into salary cap problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your guys' deals aren't locked in for next year. And after this happening, there might be some consideration about clawing a little back, considering your commitment to the podcast season is not what it should be.
No, that's fair. Derek Ryan might be a free agent, right? You never know.
I'll see if I can get Chris Pronger to step in, Struds.
Oh,
and, I'm sure there will be a very Imagine how fast subs would go up if we just drop Prongs right into your seat.
Too soon. I'm still too sensitive. I can't do it. I'm still getting chirped about that when I was in.
The guys on Overdrive were all over you the other day. Hey, they were all over you. I wonder how they found out about that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I wonder who's dropping dimes on there. It's unbelievable. God.
Okay, boys. Let's get down to some serious business here because there was a serious press conference today. Just laying out the podcast for you. I'm going to stick around for this first segment. We're going to dig into all things Connor McDavid's contract. Then I've got some plans with the fam. Going to let you two donkeys take it the rest of the way after that. Struds, you can be you can drive the bus the rest of the way for your last show. Do whatever the hell you want with it. I don't care. And then you can ride off into the sunset. So let's get to our breakdown. And that is brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, redesigned exterior, and state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See your Ram dealer today. Okay, boys. Press conferences today. Connor McDavid hops up and is asked a number of questions by my media brethren about the contract moving forward. I wasn't able to be down there today, but fielded probably 3 or 4 solid questions. We're going to get to all of his sound about his contract coming up here in just a minute, but maybe first and foremost, was there anything that stood out to you guys today, Struds?
He was asked about what he's looking for, or I don't remember exactly the question, but he said winning. I want to win. And then he used the word, is there a window to win, whether it's here or somewhere else? And didn't really somewhere else. But so it's clear to me that, and we've all been saying this, he just wants to win. That's all he cares about is winning. And I think he'd play on a team of the moon if there was a team there that could win. So I think it just confirmed what we thought and what we've said already.
Well, I think too, with money isn't an issue because he gets to make the decision on how much money he's getting anywhere he goes. So money's not the thing. And I think he's just sending a message to management. Said, money's not keeping me here. My best friend's not keeping me here. The fact that my wife has got business is not keeping me here. The only thing that's going to keep me here is a commitment that this team is going to get better. And I think to me, it wasn't a threat. I think it was just, this is what I want. I want to be part of a championship team. Let's go out and make it happen. And then I'll sign a long term here and I'll be here in the duration. But if I don't see that, well, there are other options out there.
Yeah. Okay. If you missed Connor McDavid's comments today on his contract, we got them all sort of pushed together here. So let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. The summer weather has arrived. If you don't have an air conditioner yet, do not wait. Weiss Johnson, your home comfort specialist. So give them a call. Enjoy a summer with a brand new AC unit, specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones. Visit Weiss-Johnson.com today. Before you run it, we should have a group discussion. How long are we letting this thing go for today? My gut is to say we let it run almost all the way out, just because first pod after the disappointment. I think people need their spirits to be raised, but I need unanimity. I need a unanimous group decision here, guys. How long are we going? Yeah, unanimity. Can't remember what I don't know what I was trying to say. I need you to agree. This is important.
I don't understand the question, so I'll say yes.
That'll also be in our meeting, Brownie. Let it roll. Let it roll and sing along if you know the words.
Jingle. Hit it. Taylor Weedor says full jingle, baby. Matt Blom says full jingle. EMG says you want a united front. Yes. United front. That's what I was trying to say. Let it breathe here through the second verse.
A comfortable home.
Big finish here. No, that was good. That was really good. Here's all of Connor McDavid's comments today about his upcoming contract negotiation.
You got 1 year left on your contract. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about that. Can you give us any update or situation, or what do you expect moving forward?
As you said, yeah, it's only been a couple of days since the season ended. Take some time to regroup. Talk to my agent a little bit and family and all that, and make some decisions whenever that time comes. But there's no rush on anything like that.
And obviously, I think you know what you mean to Oiler fans and everybody. And Leon said, obviously, he'd like you here forever. It's not something you had to talk about, but with the July 1st window opening, when you look at, just what you've built here with this team and how close it is, do you feel like there's unfinished business for you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. This core has been together for a long time, and we've been building to this moment, all along. The work that's gone on behind the scenes, the conversations, the endless, disappointments and some good times along the way, obviously, as well. We're all in this together, trying to get it over that finish line. With that being said, ultimately, still need to do what's best for me and my family, and that's who you have to take care of first. But of course, there's unfinished business here. Yeah.
Connor, respecting that, and you mentioned how much you got some things to think about, obviously. But what are those things? What do you want to kind of drill down on as you make a decision here on a contract extension and the thought of possibly staying here for a while?
Winning would be at the top of the list, and then winning would be it's the most important thing. If I feel that there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem. You know, yeah. I again, it's only been a couple of days. You know, I'm sure we'll get into it over the course of the next couple of weeks. But again, I'm not in a rush to make any decision, so I don't think that there needs to be any timeline. You know, I know people are going to look at that July 1 day and be looking to see if there's anything done. But for me, I'm just not in a rush that way. So.
And this is the final one here, and I didn't have the question on this one, but the question was if he had a message to the fans.
My message to the fans would be to keep being patient and keep believing, because you know, they've been through a lot, obviously, as you said, just like our team has. You know, the emotional highs, the lows. I look at what these playoff runs do to my family. You know, it's hard on them. It's hard on the fans. It's hard on everybody. But ultimately, when that day comes, it'll all be worth it. You know, these moments are tough now, and it's tough to look to that. But you know, when that moment comes, it'll be, it'll be worth the wait for sure.
All right, Zuby, nice job putting all those together, my friend. I asked you to do that on really short notice. So, guys, couple things. Coming out of that press conference today, there was a lot of panic outside this market. Other reporters from other cities and such all raising their eyebrow at what wasn't said, which is, I love Edmonton and want to remain an Oiler. What was said about, but ultimately I got to consult with my family and this and that. People want to construe those things and conflate those things and create this aura that there's more doubt about this deal getting done than I believe there actually is. We wanted to include the questions because the questions, they provide context. So when he was asked, do you feel like you have unfinished business? He can't just say, yeah, I do. I have unfinished business here. Because then everybody goes, well, he's staying. So he said, yeah, I have unfinished business. But at the same time, I've got to talk to my family and I got to do what's right for everybody. So he needed that caveat to properly answer that question. Otherwise, the context is he's got unfinished business and he's coming back. I didn't view anything Connor McDavid said today as a sign that it's less likely than what I think it is, which is very likely that he gets a deal done here. Fair, Brownie?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to sign. I do believe that he and Leon talked before Leon signed. I do believe he and Leon will talk before he makes his decision. You certainly want to consult your family. I mean, this is a big deal. It's about to be signed. And you're committing to a city for another possible 8 years. And you've already given 10 to that city. So I was like, hey, do we want to be in Edmonton for 18 years? I mean, more or less is what you're asking your family. So, and as Strud said earlier, there's nothing he needs to accomplish individually. He just doesn't. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest players that ever played this game. All he cares about is winning a Stanley Cup. So I do believe he's going to sit down and look, okay, can the Oilers win a Stanley Cup? What do we look like salary-wise? What do we look like depth-wise? What do we look? What's our GM like? What's our coach? Like all of those things that go into his decision-making. And I agree. I believe he will be an Edmonton Oiler come whether it's July or August or September or October. I believe he will sign here, but I do think Struz that he's earned the right to make that decision over time. Because the one thing that we've seen Struz with Connor McDavid, he's got a focus. And when the Stanley Cup playoffs were on, his focus was winning hockey games. He wasn't thinking about an extension.
No, he wasn't. And he does, because you don't need to. Rishaug, you said it really well. He's going to get paid. It doesn't matter where he goes, what team, what league is going to get paid. So for him, he wants to know for sure that the team is going to continue pushing to win. And why wouldn't they? They've got a really good core. They've got a really good team here. There'll be some tweaks just like there are every year. But, I'd be interested to know, we might not ever know, does he sit down? Because I'm guessing he's probably going to get out of town pretty soon. Most guys kind of take off relatively soon. So would he sit down with Stan a moment before he leaves, or does he let it breathe and maybe Stan goes and sees him? But Stan's gonna be pretty busy. There's a lot going on the next 10 days. So maybe there's a conversation before, because this isn't a conversation, guys, that in your exit meeting. So Connor, what do you think about re-signing here? I think that would be more about the team.
Yeah.
And then I think the Connor Stan Bowman conversation is completely separate, way less emotional, and way, even meet like somewhere random, right? Just to talk about it and just completely neutral. Maybe his agent would be present as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of the factors that McDavid mentioned. Winning. There is a good core here, and it's the only place he's going to get to play with one of his best friends and an amazing player in Leon Draisaitl. So those things take care of themselves to a degree. They've got Hyman signed long-term, Nugent Hopkins. Like, there's a core here that you can probably feel good about if you're Connor McDavid. But with that said, if I'm in the McDavid camp, I'm evaluating this last 12 months, and I'm saying we have regressed. This organization has regressed. They lost two of their most important young players that were going to be a huge part of this thing moving forward, including a top six forward with speed and tenacity that was hugely popular, a mobile, puck-moving, cerebral defenseman that was going to be. This organization has regressed. And if you're McDavid's camp and you're looking at what does this look like moving forward, yes, you feel good about the core, but there's a vacuum in terms of high-end talent ready to come in and play anytime soon. Right? Savoy aside, and we'll see where he ends up, right? You feel good about some of the prospects that they have, but there's a bit of a vacuum there. They're early 20-somethings ready to step in and make a difference. So if you're wondering where you're going to be in 3-4 years, the cupboards are a little bit bare. And I think it's about more than just how good will they be next season, Struds. They have regressed. And I think they would want to know that they're not going to regress again.
That's a really good point you make. Really, really good point. And I've been banging the drum and advocating for drafting, developing. I know they have a lot of draft picks, but you have to keep replenishing that pool. And that's one of the things that Tampa did pretty well. And whether they play on your team or you trade them away, they're assets. And it looks like Stan's coming in and he's trying to do that. And he had success in Chicago with that, with Panarin, who turned out to be, probably above average player. So, this is what McDavid wants to know about. It's not just, as you say, next year. It's like, what are our plans to retool, restock, and keep bringing players in, not get into, because they're not going to be able to just sign free agents all over the place. I've seen Ehlers, I've seen Besser, I've seen all these guys that everybody wants to sign. I'm not sure if that's all, manageable cap-wise. So I think you're 100% on, Schauger, and that's the deeper conversation that Stan needs to prepare to talk to Connor about, Brownie.
Well, it also, we're all thinking it's going to be 8 years because that's the biggest contract you can get. But to go on what Schauger and you were saying, Struds, if it looks like the window for this team is 3 years, because 3 years from now, all of a sudden, Hyman's this age, Nugent Hopkins this age, Nurse is this age, Ekholm's going to be gone at that point. And right now we have nothing in the minors outside of Savoy. We don't have draft picks in the first round this year or next year. So now does McDavid say, you know what? I like this team for the next 3 years. I'll sign for 3 and then I'll reevaluate. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's something that he certainly has the right to. And then 3 years from now, he can look around the league. Okay, all of a sudden the Rangers, they've rebuilt. Hey, I could get a pretty good payday going to New York and signing long-term. So I think that just goes to what he's talking about. I don't think he wants to. We saw a couple organizations, Chicago and Pittsburgh, that had superstars. And the last number of years for all of their superstars, they've been playing, they were on poor teams. Chicago was poor for Kane and Taves. Eventually, Kane had to move on, and Taves, he had health issues. Pittsburgh's been poor for years. I don't think Connor and Leon want to be part of a team that they're just hanging around in and not playing competitive hockey games in April, May, and June.
So that gets us into the conversation about term. And Brownie, I think, Connor's perception of where the organization is going and what their window is, that's going to matter. But this is where the agents get involved. Judd Moldaver he's an excellent agent. He's got Austin Matthews as well, right? Just did Zach Werenski. He also happens to have Connor Brown. Just picked up Dylan Holloway too, which is notable. But Judd Moldaver has shown he's willing to go shorter deals with his star players, right? He went the 4 with Matthews and he went 6, I believe, with Werenski. And what he banks on there is that if you do a shorter term deal with McDavid, then you're up again and you're like 31. And the cap has now gone up. Like, guys, the cap's going to be at 113 million, 3 seasons. What's it going to be if, let's say McDavid does a 3-year deal? What's the cap going to be at in 4 years? Like 117, 120? And now you're Connor McDavid at 31, still lots of tread on the tire. And now you're looking to cash in another contract there. So, you know, the reason could be made that there's more money in the long run by going these shorter deals like Austin Matthews is doing and Werenski here. Now, there's something about someone offering you 16 million times 8 years and understanding that dollar figure and leaving that on the table. So I'm not saying, I know for a fact it's going to go shorter here, but to me, there are 3 options. 2 are reasonable and 1 that's a big time flyer. 8 years. I think that's possible. I think McDavid loves being an Oiler. He said that before. I think they like being part of the community. His wife, Lauren, has set down business roots in the community. They're embracing the community together. Those things are evident. But again, it's going to be about the winning first and foremost. I believe 8 years is a possibility. The shorter deal, the 4 years, is probably a significant option as well. And then the outside the box flyer would be a 2-year deal. That gives him 3 more seasons with the Oilers potentially. And then the cap has gone up significantly. And then you redo a major deal at still a fairly young age. I believe all 3 of those options. Again, the first 2 more likely. Struddy, what do you think about term and that consideration?
Well, I guess it depends how you look at it. If you're Connor McDavid, you know, if you want to, like, I think LeBron James with the Lakers, he's gone 1 and 2 year deals because he wants to constantly know that the team is pushing to go all in. The problem is when you push to go in every year, like the Lakers, and you're not that good. You're constantly making trades and kind of chasing it down, and you're actually not getting better. Although this year, Dallas gave them a gift in Luka Doncic, and it looks like Luka's getting in shape. Side note. So, you know, I have no reason to believe that Connor McDavid isn't going to sign for the full term here. His buddy did it. I believe he'll do it. And the reason is that just gives peace of mind to him, to the team, so they can just play and just focus on winning and not have his contract kind of hanging around in 3 more years, Brownie.
It's funny. Well, first of all, I think 16's light. Don't you? I think he's looking at 18 minimum.
Yeah, we'll get into the number next.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, and this is going on, the longer he takes to sign this summer, for example, I think it's harder for Stan Bowman to go, okay, we got Connor hooked up for 8 years. Hey, free agent, come play for us. And if you go short term, you know, it's harder to attract. And it's also, you don't know what your salary cap is. So if all of a sudden Connor signs for 2 years and you want to sign some guy for 4 years as a free agent, well, you don't know 2 years to Connor's contract what Connor's going to be making the following year. So what can I give this guy? So I think for the team's sake and Connor, who wants to win, for this team to have a better opportunity to plan for the future, it's better if Connor signs 8. Because now the team knows exactly what they have in Connor and Leon for the next 7-8 years. And now they can go out and fill out your roster based on those salaries. And that's what the team wants. And if Connor wants what is best for the team, that's probably best for the team. But as an individual, you also have to look what's best for you and your family. And I think that's what you're weighing right now as a person.
Okay, let's get to the dollar figure. What I'll say from the outset of this conversation is that if there were ever a player to push for the absolute max, which is, I think, just shy of 20% of the cap, and by the way, it's the salary cap for the upcoming season, not the salary cap the first year his new deal kicks in. So 95.5 the upcoming season as opposed to 104 where the cap would be at in the first year of his deal. If there were ever a time and place for a player to ask for and get the max, it's here and now with Connor McDavid because of who he is, because of where the cap is going. So 19 million, you know, that would be pushing it right up to the very edge. But at the same time, guys, he sat there and said that winning is the most important thing to him. And I believe it is by a mile. So by asking for the max or getting up as high as you were talking about, Brownie, into the 18s, That is a deal where at a certain point you start getting in the way of being able to have the team that's required to win. So for me, this is about threading a needle between acknowledging who Connor McDavid is in the game and how good he is, but also doing a deal that allows him to achieve that ultimate goal of winning. And there is a confluence of those two things. There's a point where those two things meet, and that's the sweet spot that they're going to be looking for. My gut is that sweet spot is somewhere between 15 and 17 million, depending on the term. Brownie, you think it should be more?
I think it will be more. I think it'll be 18 is what I'm predicting. And I have zero inside information. I also believe that players are confident enough to think that, you know what, we will find. I'm good enough, or we're good enough to be able to win a championship. If I take 14 or if I take 19, I will get us over the finish line. So I remember reading an article when they were talking about it last year, how both Leon and Connor were going to take 12 and give the team a hometown discount so that they can go out and sign other players. And I'm like, that's never going to happen. So I predict he'll get 18, because I believe there'll be players that around the National Hockey League, they're going to get 18 soon. Kaprizov is going to be getting a ton of money this summer in Minnesota. Different reasons why, but I think Connor McDavid will get 18 million. That's just my prediction.
The first off, what do you want, Connor? I think that's the first. Where are you? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
And then you can work. Say, okay, now if that's the number, let's just keep in mind that's percentage of the cap, and this is what it looks like for the rest of our team. This is what we can spend. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Connor. I just want you to know that if it is 19, then it's going to make it a little bit harder for us to maneuver around this. And just talk, and not as a threat, not as not really trying to change his mind, but it's more of an open discussion saying, hey man, this is where we're at. And Connor will know this, his agent will have him ready and all that stuff, but that's the kind of conversation that Stan and the agent and Connor have to have all together. So do I think it gets up there? I don't think it does. I'm more with you, Shagar. I think, what's Leon at, 14 and a half or 14?
14.
It's going to be 14. Yeah. I think Leon, I think Connor goes 16-5, something like that. I think that's kind of where I am, 16-5, somewhere in there.
So 16.5 million would be 17.2% of the cap at 95.5, 15.87 the first year that the deal kicks in at $104 million cap, and down at 14.6% of the cap in the second year of his deal. And that's the thing to remember. If you want to talk about percentage of cap and such, like, it's really escalating aggressively. A lot of those other deals were done in sort of like a flat cap era, right? This cap is going up aggressively. So it changes the calculus a little bit. And I think you would view a higher deal a little differently given how fast the cap is going up. With that said, I believe Draisaitl's camp knew the way the cap was going when they did their deal. And Draisaitl did his deal at 14 million. The one thing I'll say about a really high number, Brownie, is this. How do you think Connor McDavid will view and feel about $4 million more than Leon Draisaitl makes on the cap? About going in so aggressive and grabbing so much bigger a piece of the pie when in his heart of hearts, he knows Leon Draisaitl can win a Hart Trophy any given year just like he can. He knows Leon Draisaitl can win the scoring title just like he can. His perception of a $4 million gap, how would he process that, do you think?
Has it not been a $4 million gap for the last number of years?
Right, but Leon Draisaitl did his deal before he was anywhere near the player he is now, and before anybody knew what he could be. These deals are being done when people understand exactly what they are.
And when you look around, what if Kaprizov signs for 17 million? How's Connor McDavid going to feel when he is 10 times the player of Kaprizov, who's going to be making more money than him? I mean, that's the same argument as you're saying about Leon. There's going to be other players. Matthews' next contract is going to be worth more than that. So if he's going to say, well, I should be closer to Leon because Leon is number 1A in the National Hockey League, but I'm going to be making less than number 9 and number 12 and number 14 1 or 2 years from now. So I predict $18 million. That's my prediction. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, my predictions are better than Strud's because he picked LA would win the series, but that is my prediction.
We look at Sidney Crosby. He made 8.7 for years. Now he signed that contract a long time ago, and he re-signed it now.
Yep.
And I think both of those probably could have been higher. Now, again, the 8.7, the first deal, that was pretty decent because of where the cap was at the time. But I don't know, like, do Stars care? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they care. You know, I think Leon was underpaid, grossly underpaid for a long time.
But he wasn't when they did the deal, Struds. They rolled the dice on him.
I know.
They took a gamble.
I know. I'm not going to argue there.
He was underpaid.
You can't tell me he's not more than $8.5 million.
Of course he is. No question he is.
I know. So just let me get my point out. So what I'm saying is that he was grossly underpaid for the time he was, because what he became. And there's no doubt they rolled the dice. That was a great value contract. Connor, he could be making $30 million, but he was the highest paid player for a long time. And I don't think that Connor feels like he missed out, right? Like he was still at the top of the thing, whereas Leon was different. So I think the two of them go into a little bit different. Leon goes in thinking, okay, it's not that he's poor, but I think I deserve my full hit here because I wasn't getting full hit for the last a while. And then you have Connor was like, I've made good money. I was at the top of the pyramid. I'll stretch the pyramid up, but I don't think I have to go and make 20 million. So I stay above all these other guys. So I think it's a different perspective the two of them come from. And again, they're all making a lot of money, but just like you think of Nathan McKinnon, how he was also grossly underpaid, but he signed the contract. I'm not disputing that, but he had a big jump because he was so far underpaid at that time.
Yep. I agree with all the stuff you said there, Struds. I still predicting 18 million.
All right.
Nice.
There it is. It's going to be fascinating to see. And I think, he's got a responsibility too, in some ways, guys, like as the notable best player in the game, the PA, fellow contemporaries, other people, like, you need to float the boats higher, and that pressure will be there and he will be well aware of that, but you can't tank your own ship by floating the rest of the boats higher. So it's sort of like he's got this needle to thread, and it's going to be fascinating to see which way this goes. As he said today, don't be in a panic, Oiler fan, if this isn't done by July 1st, if this goes into July, into early August. Leon Draisaitl did as well. The sense early on in Draisaitl's negotiation was this might take a bit of time. Fully expect that it's going to get done. My sense in this moment is this might take a little bit of time. I'm, fairly optimistic that there will be a deal to be hammered out here. So for those reading into today, don't panic.
I got a question for you, Shog, or what we could have done tonight. Our poll tonight could have been, at what month should we have our stress level going through the roof on the McDavid contract? August, September, late
January
December.
of 26.
June 30th.
January of 26. January of 26 heading into the trade deadline. That would be the time, right? Walking a player free agency like that.
I just want to make one more point here. I'm actually going to challenge you guys on the idea that a star player has to push for as much money as he can. And I'll look at a guy who was the best player in his position, at his position and in the league for many, many years, and the face of that league, Tom Brady. Tom Brady never pushed for the highest salary. And I didn't hear other people complaining about him, or at least not publicly. Maybe they're not arguing. So there's a case to be made for a guy saying, you know what, I'm gonna take a little less to help us win and get the championships. And I'm not suggesting Connor has to do that, but that's a player who was the best player on the planet at football.
Yeah, but there's different money when you talk hockey and football. I mean, it's not like he settled.
No, but he did. He took less money dramatically.
Yeah, he took less money, but it's not like not like
I know, but it's all relative. Like if you're making 15 or 20, it's not like you're,
you and I are sitting here and Shogger, we're talking about it's all relevant. How do we know? I know what we make. We have no idea what these guys is going through their heads right now.
I think listen, I'm not saying he has to take a discount. I'm not challenging that at all. I'm just saying there is an elite, the best player in the league did that to help his team win. So do you think the other guys were looking at him? If they did, he didn't care. He just wore his Uggs, married his wife, and just kept moving on.
Remember what McDavid did when he signed his last deal? That deal was done at over $13 million. And he backed it off. He backed it off right before signing it. He has a history of making these calls and doing these things. So again, I don't think he pushes for every penny he can get. I don't think he does. But we'll see. This is going to be really interesting. That was the breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealer. We should probably get to the relentless player of the day, I think. That would be a good segment to do before
Indeed.
I wrap up here. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Are you looking to hire entry-level staff for your company? UCAN Youth Services trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing, and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. Anybody got a relentless player? Anything striking anybody? Love the hat, Brownie.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one here. Brad Marchand has been taken to Instagram, and he is chirping every organization. So he put a picture of Sam Reinhart. He said, "Thank you at Buffalo Sabres." Then he went to a picture of Seth Jones at Chicago Blackhawks. "Thank you at Chicago Blackhawks." Calgary Flames at them. "Thank you for Sam Bennett." Like same at Flames for Kachuk. Like, this guy is literally relentless in chirping teams that weren't even in the playoffs. Like, I saw that, I was howling. So Brad
That's
Marchand,
a skill.
like just pure chirp. So funny.
Awesome. Good stuff.
All
right, boys.
We had one other thing. There was somebody calling you out, Shogger, for maybe being not as relentless as you could have been.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to bring this up.
We'll play this little clip here. Someone recorded this right at the end of Connor's media availability here. So I have this as a sound on tape. We won't be able to talk over it, but we'll come back. And so this was Connor as he was walking off from his availability today.
No shot today?
It's on the IR. They hurt his Achilles.
What?
He's incredibly soft. Thanks, Connor.
Oh, God.
That must have made you feel that's pretty special, actually, for him to be like, "Where's Rishaug?" That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of yapping about Connor McDavid's injuries before. So I think maybe he liked the idea of outing me for a pathetic injury that I'm dealing with right now. Yeah, my phone blew up after that mess today.
I love it. Good stuff. Well, go feel better, Shogger. Get yourself in there. Get in that hot tub. Please wear swim trunks, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, boys. Achilles tendinopathy. If anybody is wondering, that was what kept me away from the rink today. So it's
You hurt
just
your
another
Achilles?
one of those. Yeah, my Achilles tendon. Yeah.
What were you doing?
How?
That's what Connor said.
That's what
Doing
he
what?
Yeah. Somebody goes, he hurt his Achilles, and McDavid goes, "Doing what?" Like, what does that guy do to hurt his Achilles tendon? I want to say it was from just a crazy elliptical workout. Just a hard.
I used a golf cart on your simulator. I didn't know that you actually walked the course. So I can see how you could hurt yourself.
He walks in place
right.
to the next shot.
All right. We're overtime. I'm going.
Do you want a
Struddy?
walking boot? I've got a walking boot you can have. I'll drive it over to
Do you have one? Yeah. Drive it over. Some crutches
Yes.
too if you have.
Well,
I'll try
actually,
and
all
see
these
general managers avail tomorrow. I'll see if I can get
all
there.
these parents have a wheelchair. Do you need a wheelchair to push you around? Randy can push you around the house.
A power cart.
All right, I'm out.
See you, buddy.
Struddy, it's been fun this year, buddy. It's been
Awesome.
fun. You guys have a great vacation. Brownie, I think you and I we'll get another one in here before you take off. See you, everybody.
Sounds good.
See you, buddy.
Bye, Shogger.
All right, let's
Bye, Zoops.
duck out here. Let's duck out here, guys. When we come back, we'll continue. The other guys had avails too, not just Connor. We'll get to some other things about Frederick and Evan Bouchard. That's next, everybody. Stay with us.
Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
This break, Brownie points in that and move on, and then we'll
Another whatever you need.
20, 30 minutes, buddy. Yeah. Thanks, man. That was really bad English. Welcome back, everybody. Turns out English is hard. I'm having a tough time with it today, so buckle up. Could be a rough ride here through to the end of this one. Time for takeaways brought to you by Horizon Egg and Turf. Great golf starts with great turf, and great turf starts with John Deere equipment. Horizon Egg and Turf is a John Deere golf and sports turf equipment dealer for all of Alberta. Trust them to help you get the perfect cut every time, whether you're looking for a residential mower or that precision cut. From the tee to the green, visit Horizon Egg and Turf, your local John Deere dealer. All right, boys. Another player needs a big contract here on the Oilers, and that's Evan Bouchard. And everyone's thinking, everyone's got an opinion on this guy, Brownie, as we go kind of through that conversation with Evan Bouchard. Let's hear from Evan Bouchard as we go back in and just his thoughts on how, I think, what would he like to come back?
Yeah, we kind of tried to not talk about it too much come playoff time, focus on hockey. I love being here, want to be here, and we'll see where talks go in next few days when I get home.
Long talker, Evan Bouchard. There's no doubt about it. So that was the Bouch bomb in the Weiss Johnson soundbox again. But Brownie, I mean, this is a no-brainer. To me, they're going to get it done. They need to get it done. It's just the number. Is the number 10? Is it 11? Is it 9.5? Like, where are they going? But they need Evan Bouchard, and he's earned this over the last 2 years for sure.
Well, I mean, Evan Bouchard is going to get a big payday. I mean, it also goes to what you were talking about with Connor. Is do you explain to him? Yeah, we can give you this much if that's what you get on the open market. But if you do that, we're not as good a hockey club. For Evan Bouchard, I can't see him ever wanting to go anywhere else. He just fits here. I think he'll have success anywhere he goes, but I think he'll have more success with Edmonton because he's got Connor and Leon, and he's on a power play that's incredible. He sees the ice well. He can find Connor. He can find Leon. The Oilers play a style offensively that benefits Evan Bouchard. So I can't imagine any scenario where Evan Bouchard doesn't want to be part of this Oilers organization long term. But again, also you got to look at too, is he signed a max deal or is he signed a short one as well? With the salary cap going up, with the fact he's going to be playing on a power play with Connor and Leon for the next number of years, is it more beneficial for him to sign a 3-year deal? And then all of a sudden 3 years from now, maybe he's got 2 90-point seasons in there. So this will get done because it benefits both teams to have this done. And I see this one being done much, much quicker than the Connor McDavid one.
Let's hear from Connor McDavid what he thinks about Evan Bouchard and his return.
Every time there's a big game or a big moment, he shows up, and that's a skill that not everybody has. So, does he make some boo-boos every now and then in November? Sure, we all do. But I think his game has been just improving year after year, and seems like month by month he just gets better and better. So thought he took big strides defensively this year, taking on a role in the penalty kill as we've talked about. he's incredibly important to the group. Definitely a deal that needs to get done, and one that is really important for us.
That's Connor McDavid telling the world how important he is to his team. A guy that also the Oilers would like to sign is Connor McDavid. We just outlined in the previous. There's no way Evan Bouchard doesn't sign. There was a lot of people talking about trading Evan Bouchard. I've heard it, walked by people as I'm, grabbing my Slurpee and hearing it. This guy's signing back with the Oilers, and obviously when you hear your captain talk about that, like that, Brown, it's no doubter he'll be back on this team.
Well, it's a no doubter. I mean, for those that think he'll be traded, the Oilers don't have anything. It's not like when they had Tyson Barrie, you could trade Tyson Barrie because we got Evan Bouchard. There's no one on the Oilers organization right now that can come and do what Evan Bouchard did. No one even close. So, and as a player, you also know where you fit. And I'm sure that over your career, there's certain teams that you fit better with, and other ones that you seem like a square peg in a round hole. Evan Bouchard fits playing on a power play with the two best players in the world. Evan Bouchard is an offensive phenom. So you want to play with Evan could go to the Seattle Kraken, ain't going to have the same point totals because they don't have the players. So Evan understands it. The Oilers understand the importance of an Evan Bouchard. And just like anything that this team will do going forward, they will take input from Connor and Leon. They don't sign a guy for 8 years and say they get him $9 million, $10 million. You're not giving $70 to $80 million to a guy if Connor and Leon don't think he's not a fit for us. So Evan Bouchard's contract, I believe, will be done fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think we'll see this one, before first, second week of July, maybe even sooner. All right, that was takeaways. Let's walk into a YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Golf season is in full swing. Are your clubs cutting it, or is it time for new grips, a new driver, or maybe a whole new set? DeBoer's Golf has you covered. Locally owned and operated, DeBoer's Golf has been in business for over 25 years, and they're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street, or at DeBoersGolf.com. Zuby, what do you got for us tonight, buddy?
Well, Brownie's suggested poll wasn't too far off from that. It wasn't about the stress level though, but it was kind of about the timeline. So we were asking the stream here, what do you think is the most likely outcome is for Connor's contract timeline? So the choices I made that he signs on or before July the 1st, he signs before training camp. The third choice is it drags into next season, or the fourth choice is worst case scenarios, which would be trades or him going all the way through and signing somewhere else or whatever else. But those are the four choices. And it seems like there's probably the most obvious one there, but we're getting some votes all around. So.
Well, keep you're coming in, keep answering those questions, everybody. And good one. We'll see what happens. I think ultimately it gets done, but I don't think you should be anticipating it quickly. I think you got to let this breathe, and Connor needs the time to decompress, as we chatted about in the first segment. All right, let's get into the scoreboard now, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at an incredible 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. A lot of reports out there that Trent Frederick, acquired from the Boston Bruins from the Oilers, will sign a 8-year deal roughly worth $30 million. So, somewhere around that $3.5 million range. He's 27 years old. He'll play as a 27-year-old next year. He was a first-round pick, a late first-round pick. But this guy was obviously not at his best. He talked about today how he felt. He said, it doesn't really matter, but I didn't feel great. In 2022-23, he had 17 goals. Last year, 18 goals. This year, he had 8 now in less games, and obviously with the injury. I'd like to see this guy find a chance to play some center. I really do. I like his defensive game. I think he has more speed than he showed here on the Oilers with that ankle sprain. But Brownie, when you hear that the score might be, $3.5 million for 8 years for Trent Frederick, what are your thoughts about how it affects the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, it's funny. I was golfing yesterday, and there's 4 of us, and that report came out, and all 4 was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it shocked us. The length of term, and B, the amount. We talked in our little group chat. Donato signed for 4 million. He scored 31 goals last year.
Right.
So to be close to that for Frederick, I don't believe he's going to be a 17, 18 goal scorer here because he's not going to get the power play time that he would have had in Boston or the ice time in offensive situations. I was surprised. I was surprised at both length and term. Can he be a useful player for the Oilers? Yes. He's a player that they need. And is Kane going to be back next year? And if Kane's gone, will you miss exactly what Frederick brings? So I could see that being a reason you have him in the lineup. But I was surprised by both the length of it, because now he's a big physical player that goes all the way to age 35. And we know big physical players, when they get into 32, 33, 34, they start to slow down a bit. Having said that, by then maybe that 3.5 to 4 million doesn't look as gaudy, but I was surprised.
Yeah, he thought it'd be shorter term for sure. I think that Trent, he didn't get. I don't think he got any power time in Boston. I think that he's a guy. I'd love to see him on that third line. I'd love to see him at center. And can he get him some speedy wingers? Not that he's slow, but they can be a strong, heavy line, kind of like what they have in Winnipeg with Adam Lowry. Now he's not Adam Lowry. I'm not suggesting, but can he be a poor man's Adam Lowry? And I'd love to see that. Now, I believe if this contract signed, it's going to be hard to bring back Evander Kane here. I think that they need some cap space. With Evan Bouchard's number going from whatever he's at, 4 million up to possibly 10, that's $6 million you have to find. And you add Trent Frederick in there that much, that's getting pretty expensive. So I think Arvidsson is guaranteed to be gone. Skinner's gone, and as well as Evander Kane.
Well, also, Struddy, Leon's contract kicks in too. So there's $6 million right there.
Yeah.
So there's another point. 6. Yeah, I do. I think, to me, that contract to Frederick, I think that would be the end of Evander Kane in Edmonton. Just the way that's a big contract for a physical player that plays similar, but not the same as Kane. I think that you have trouble finding a way to fit all of those players in, and it could spell the end of Kane, whether that's through trade, buyout, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's, when you look at it, we both agree, all three of us do, that the Oilers need to get younger. And this is a way of getting younger. Now, Trent Frederick is never going to be, and has never been, the same player as Evander Kane. He's not going to score 30. No. And if he does, this contract will look like it's free. But you do have to continue to get a little bit younger as you go. So that deal is not finalized as of Thursday night at 9:28 p.m. But I would expect that to get done relatively quickly, because they are talking to some other players at the same time. From the Oilers, I should say. All right, let's take a quick pause. When we come back, Brownie Points, Study World, and Core Adjustments coming at you hot.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
Music's playing, we all know it. Clap your hands to the rhythm. It's time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're craving bold flavor and unbeatable quality jerky made with premium Alberta beef that is made and sold right here in Canada, look no further. They're June specials here. $97.29 for 3 pounds of jerky. And as always, free shipping Alberta-wide. Visit albertajerky.com to see more. Brownie, it's your time to shine.
Well, alrighty then. Let's give out some big points here. I have 365 brownie points to all the Oilers fans and players, as we are approximately 365 days away from the Oilers' next opportunity to hoist the Stanley Cup. So we knew how long it took for them to get back this year. It's going to seem doubly hard or long for them to get back next year. I got 6 brownie points to the Oilers management team, as I believe the Oilers are probably 6 changes away from where they will be next April when the Stanley Cup playoffs begin. We saw the moves that the Oilers made last summer: Arvidsson, Skinner, Josh Brown, the loss of Broberg and Holloway. There were more missed than hits last summer, and the Oilers took a small step backwards. This summer, I believe Stan Bowman will have his chance to put his thumbprints all over this team. I got 224 brownie points to Evan Bouchard and Connor McDavid, who sometime this summer could add about $224 million to their net worth when they both re-sign for the maximum 8 years. I have 6 brownie points to everybody's favorite hockey player, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who played the Stanley Cup Finals with a broken hand. Not sure when it happened. I remember him being slashed in one of the games, but Nuge played up to 6 games in the finals, averaging over 20 minutes a night while playing with a broken hand. Good on Nuge. And one big brownie point. This is for all Oiler fans in Oilers Nation. This is for the big, deep breath to all the fans who at this moment are holding their breath after not hearing the words that they wanted to hear today from Connor McDavid. This will take time. Breathe. I believe it. Struds believes it. And Schauger believes it. So, the Guy Your Back podcast believes that Connor McDavid will be an Edmonton Oiler long term. It just might take a while to get the contract done. And those tonight, Struddy, are the last of my brownie points, with you still here in our fair country of Canada.
Please text me the brownie points as you do the other ones, so I know what exactly I'm dealing with. Connor McDavid spoke about, he actually said that he was the one who dropped it, that Nuge had a broken hand. And he said he played through a lot of pain. And I broke my thumb, just the end of my thumb here before an Olympic break. And sadly, I wasn't invited to the Canadian team, but I didn't know if I'd be able to play. I couldn't even hold my stick. And they're like, don't worry, we'll just give you a little pill and to pain kill it. And I was like, there's no way. Because I'd never taken a pain pill before. I just played through whatever. And so I take it in warm. I could barely shoot. By the time the end of warm, I was just flying. My back felt great. Everything felt great. But when that came off about 2 a.m, I considered cutting my thumb off. It was so painful. So I can only imagine Nuge, after every game and the adrenaline and what you do to your hand in those games. And he touched the puck way more than I did. You would be in so much pain that night. So that guy, he probably just slept with his hand in an ice bag for 6, 7, whatever, more than that, 10, 12 nights in a row, Brownie.
Well, I mean, he didn't practice through the finals. He didn't take a lot of the skates. It would have been awful. It would have been awful. Know what he needed, though? He needed that soccer spray, the ones that bring those players back to life when they're writhing around on the ground. That's what he would have needed. But I give credit to Nuge, but it also just shows, I mean, the Florida Panthers had a number of players that were injured. The Oilers do. Nuge, you only get so many opportunities to play for the Stanley Cup. And again, unless you are in a cast or on crutches or you're Schauger, you are going to play in the Stanley Cup Finals no matter what.
That was brownie points. Roll the music. Time for everyone's 4th favorite segment, Struddy. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Struddy's World's brought to you by Timberhouse Developments, where if you can dream it, they can make it happen. A truly customized building experience. They've got you covered. Every house is unique. Every customer is like family. See what you can dream up together. Contact timberhouse.ca. There's cell phones everywhere. Babies have cell phones now. It's insane. But the great thing about cell phones is that you can put it to your ear and hear it, or you can get the hands-free. Pop the things in your ears and you can hear what's going on. We don't have to hear a conversation. We have to hear other people talking. I've noticed a trend lately where a lot of people now, they're walking around with their phones held like this and they're yelling into the phone. And then someone's yelling back at them. Jim has hemorrhoids. He's got to get the cream. Where do you get the cream? I don't know where you get the cream. We got to get the cream. It is insane. Why do people walk around with their cell phones on speaker? I don't want to hear your conversation. No one cares about Jim's hemorrhoids. All they care about is that you put it to your ear and talk like a normal human being, or put it in your ear. This is a public service announcement. We don't want to hear a conversation. Have a clue. There's other people in the world. I should come over and just start talking beside them. Oh, what a day I had. You think I had a good day? I had a good day. Thanks for talking to me. It's unbelievable. Put it to your ear. Earpieces. Strudwick out.
My favorite is when you're on an airplane and they start talking and it's like full, like it's a quiet airplane. They just start to, yeah, I just landed, and they go on and on and on. No, we don't care. No, please, for the love of God, text. We can text now. When you're on a quiet place, you do not need to talk, but people do. I think a lot of people, Struds, believe that everybody wants to hear what they have to say. I think that's it. You need to hear me. That's why I'm going to talk as loud as I can. So I'm on your side on this one, Struddy. That was a very good Struddy's World.
Zuby, ever have this problem?
Well, but sometimes it's not even the speakerphone. Sometimes people who are on the earbuds want to talk. You only get to hear one side of the conversation, right. But sometimes those people speak just as. I remember being once. I was at the Costco food, like the hot dogs place in Vancouver, which is like downtown there, right next to Rogers Arena. And there was a guy in there walking around waving his arms, and he kept talking about the prosthesis. Well, but the prosthesis, whatever he kept, and I'm like, buddy, nobody believes you're a doctor right now. So he must have said the word prosthesis, a half dozen times. Yeah. I was like, you shouldn't have, whatever you're talking about, you shouldn't have to say it that many times. So no one was buying it. But yeah, personal, I don't want to hear anyone else's conversations. I barely want to hear my own.
I think it was Louis DeBrusque when I played Chicago. When I'd pick him up every morning at the hotel and I'd drive him, and he'd call his wife. I get it. You want to call your wife.
Sorry, who was this, Freddie?
Louis DeBrusque.
Oh,
and he would
perfect.
Talk so loud. Eventually I just said, buddy, how about I just roll down the window? You get off your phone and just yell at her, because she'll be able to hear you all the way back home from Chicago. Like, he was yelling. I'm like, what is going on in here? And sometimes I'd be a bit hungover, so I didn't want to hear how the kids are doing. Yeah, I know. I love your kids, Lou, but I'm a little bit hungover. I'm just trying to drive to practice, and you're yelling 2 feet away from me, I'd rather hear hunting stories than hear you yelling in the car.
Strud, do you remember Jimmy McKenzie, tough guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I played with him in Hartford. He was my roommate. And we'd be watching TV, roommates, because back then we all shared rooms with another player, watching TV and everything. And then as soon as you turn the light out, that's when he would call his girlfriend. So now it's like 11:30 at night, pitch black. And then he would call his girlfriend. I'm like, okay, seriously, you could have called for the last 4 hours we laid in bed. Right. And then they talk for an hour and a half. And I'm like, oh my God, please, Jimmy, no, I love you too. No, I love you more. Like, come on. It drove me crazy. But I hope he doesn't hear this, because he could still kick the crap out of me, and I don't want to get beat up in the streets.
He tried to beat me up all the time. He's so tough. Like, when other guys tell you not to fight him, that's scary. Like, what? That's a bad sign. He was really tough. So, Jim, we apologize for any dirty or mean things we thought.
Shogger told us to say this.
Yeah, punches Achilles. All right. That was Struddy's World. Let's slip into a world, again, called Core Adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements, HSE Core supports clients' operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecore.com. That's HSECOR.com for more info. Okay, Brownie, I think I'm the first one to spill this out. So you guys get the premiere of my big idea here for an adjustment the Oilers can do. The Oilers have 4 left D-men. We're assuming Klingberg's out. Stetcher and Emberson will be, the 6th, 7th guy, whichever way they fall. I believe the plan for the Oilers should be to trade one of their left D-men for a right D-man. I don't think it'll be Nurse. I think you can trade Kulak. I guess you could trade Ekholm, or you could trade Jake Wallman, one of those guys, and get a right pair defenseman, so that your pairings are then left right, because Because right now they have an overabundance of left D-men, which is great. I get it. But the Oilers, I would prefer for them to go out and sign or trade for directly without taking someone out of your lineup for a right defenseman. The problem is cap probably won't allow that. So if you find a team with a right D-man, get a right D-man that is maybe like a right shot Kulak, a right shot Wallman, a right shot whatever, and that solves some of your problems. You're welcome, Stan Bowman.
There'll be a thank you card coming in the mail from Stan. Well, it's not Nurse. You're right. I do not believe it would be Ekholm. So it's Wallman or Kulak. They just traded for Wallman. Does Wallman have more upside than Kulak? I mean, Kulak again you've been trying to trade Kulak at the end of every season for like 5 years now. So maybe this is the year you get rid of Kulak. I see what you're saying. I just like Kulak as a player, and he seems to play so well in the playoffs for the Oilers. But the right side, so they got Bush, and then who do they got after Bush?
Well, Klingberg, but I don't think he may have himself out. And then, so right now it would be Bush, Stetcher, Emberson.
Yeah, I can see your point now, because obviously they don't have a lot of trust come playoff time in either of them, since Emberson was out and Stetcher was only in and out. And I mean, you just made a lot of Oiler fans really nervous because you just told us that we got one right-handed defenseman going into next season. So, yeah, I can see the Oilers, that could be a priority going forward. Do you think Klingberg signs here, or do you think he moves on?
I think he may have priced himself out of it, right? So what is he at 1.7 here? And he played really well. In the playoffs he played really well.
Yeah.
But can he get $2, $3, $4 million? I don't know. But listen, I want to make it clear. I want to say it. I don't want to trade any of my left shot defensemen. All four. I like them all. But you have 4 veteran, legit, pretty well paid, in some cases, very well paid D-men. It's a luxury to have that. Can you flip one of them for a right shot D-man? Now, I haven't gone through the list. I'd have to find, you have to go through it and look for a right shot guy. But I think this is a plan that would make sense on a lot of levels, because all 4 of them are battle-tested playoff veteran players. Now, the problem is, outside of Nurse, the other 3 are all unrestricted free agents. I think is after next year for Ekholm and Kulak, and maybe one more year for Wallman. I'd have to double check that. But this is my, when I'm talking core adjustments, this would be a bold strategy if you could find it. The problem is finding someone who's willing to give up that has 3 or 4 right shot defensemen.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. The problem is the Oilers have had good depth on the back end, and they've been healthy relatively the last number of years. You'll get rid of one of the lefties, and then they'll run into lefty injury issues, and then everyone's going to be bad-mouthing you on the podcast because you told them to trade Kulak again. So, the Oilers need something on the right side. They don't have they've got one top 4 right-handed defenseman right now if Klingberg doesn't re-sign, and that is a problem going forward.
There you go. Core adjustments. Just remember this one, guys, when Stan Bowman sends me a personalized thank you card. Okay, Brownie. That's it for you, buddy. We'll talk to you later, and keep Schauger company when I'm away.
Yeah, enjoy Greece. You guys have a fun time over there, and we'll talk to you during the summer. Take care, buddy.
Don't turn your phone off. I'm sending the pictures. You're okay.
I'm going to turn my phone off. Please don't send me pictures of yourself.
No,
please don't. No.
You'll love it. You're welcome.
Okay, I'll look
Brownie.
once.
Good night. One long look. Okay, Zub, just you and I finally. What the people want. Just me and Zuby. For the rest, we're coming back. We'll take a lap, ask us anything, and play of the day. Stay with us, everyone.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Oh, we're back here.
Finally, Zuby and me. What everybody wanted. Time for Take a Lap, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or a construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, Acon wants to hear from you. One of Canada's original industrial contractors, they're building some of the world's largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada, and you can be a part of it. They're looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join the Acon team and start building what matters today. Join Acon now by sending your resume to trades@acon.com. Dallas Stars have been busy. We know they traded for Mikko Rantanen and Zuby and signed him to a significant extension at, what was it, $12 million? Let me just double check. Yeah, $12 million
so,
a
yeah.
year. I should never doubt myself. $12 million. So they went on and signed Matt Duchene, who's a free agent, 34 years old. 4.5. So $18 million for 4 years for a 34-year-old Matt Duchene. Had a great year last year. But, you know, they are trying to keep the band together for the most part after they got absolutely dusted out of the third round by the Edmonton Oilers. But I think he was a good second-line center, 82 points last year, 4.5 for that guy at that point. Not sure how it'll age, but for now, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice deal considering he was a guy he was making, you know, the deal that he had in Nashville was, I can't remember if it was signed there or he was traded there, but he was making $8-9 million, and offensively his numbers dropped way off. So he's really found a home his last year in Nashville and now in Dallas, and kind of turned back into the player we knew him to be early in his career. I guess I question. I mean, so are we going to talk about Marchment as well?
Well, that's the follow up, right? So they are looking for create some cap space. So they traded away Marchment to the Seattle Kraken today for a 3rd and 4th round draft pick. This trade makes a lot of sense for if you're Seattle. Seattle has a few picks kicking around, but they're not very big. And they need scoring kind of in their middle. So Mason Marchment, who only has 1 year left on his deal, it should be said, but he is big. He can skate. He can score. And I think he'll bring a little bit of edge to that team. That team could use some edge. So Mason Marchment, now a Seattle Kraken for a 3rd and 4th round pick. But I'm not sure why Seattle would do, like, wouldn't you think they have to get more out of that? Like, that's a $4.5 million cap dump for that player. So as a follow-up to that, Zoobs, I wonder if that's what they got for Mason Marchment, what would the market be for Evander Kane? So I feel like with Marchment at this, getting a 3rd and 4th and not having to retain any money, there's got to be a market for Evander. If they decide that they want to move him, I don't know what's happening.
Right.
But if they decide they want to, there'll be a market. And I think that's where that'd be the bottom to get Evander Kane, to another team to facilitate some cap space for the Oilers if they need that.
Yeah, I think this would be in the same range. Marchment is only 30 years old. I'm sort of trying to figure this out for Dallas. I guess they're looking, Duchene's older, but I guess they're looking a little bit longer term. Marchment on an expiring deal coming in, this next season. Maybe they're thinking he's due for a bigger raise. I'm kind of surprised at the same money value. Obviously, Duchene brings a lot more offense, but I mean, I like what Marchment brings. Sandpaper, he's a huge frame. I don't know. I guess that's the casualty. I guess it's just the biggest thing for me is the age difference as a Dallas team that probably, I would think looking at being eliminated by the Oilers 2 years in a row that they would, it just seems like whenever you don't win, you start thinking, they're not a young team. They have some young pieces, but I feel like that's the common thinking is like, we got to get younger, faster, and bigger. And Marchment versus Duchesne is those things, even though Duchesne's a very, very skilled offensive player.
Well, a couple of things. One, Jake Onger's contract went up by $4 million. So they needed to find some cash there. They got Mikko Rantanen coming on at $12 million. So right now they have $5 million in cap space. That's with Marchment off their lineup, but they haven't signed Jamie Benn. Dandanoff probably won't be back. Mikael Granlund, do they sign him? Colin Blackwell, who, decent player, and Maverick Bourque will need a contract. Then on the back end, both Cody Ceci and Brendan Smith are gone. Matt Dumba at 3.75. He might be bought out and or traded with draft picks to some team that wants to take that on. So their cap space is tight.
Right.
They're really tight. So, you got to sign, what did I just ramble off there? Probably 4 or 5 players for $5 million and your captain. Like, is Jamie Benn going to play for $1 million?
I don't
35 years old.
I think he'll take a discount. I don't think it'll be that discounted.
No. And you don't have enough forwards right now. So I think more people are going out the door. I think Matt Dumba is going to be a cap casualty for sure. I think he's one guy. And then, up front, I don't know who else that can really push out the door, although there's been rumors about Jason Robertson. So he has one more year at 7.7. Then he's the RFA the next year, then a UFA after that. So it's worth keeping an eye on. But Dallas is not done making cap space for sure. Okay, that was Take a Lap. Let's get to Ask Us Anything. This is where you get to shine now, our great listeners. This is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Is your mortgage renewal date just around the corner or coming up in 2025? Don't just roll over and accept the bank's first offer. With the right strategy and timing, you can take advantage of the rate drops, saving you thousands and keeping your more money in your pocket. Why pay the banks more than you need to? Get expert advice and smarter options. Contact Maria Gallus today at mortgagesbymaria.ca. Zuby, what do they want to know?
Struds, Joe Dokes has a good thought here. Oh, he's borrowing as well from Stoff. He says Bob Stauffer was casting doubt on the Oilers coaching staff for practicing too much during the finals. What do you think? We had, of course, that notable stretch, right, where they, I think the Panthers took 2 full days off or maybe had an optional, and the Oilers, they were optional, but they had basically 2 full practices plus a game day skate. That was before Game 5 down in Florida, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point and good question. And Stoff, listen, he's around the team all the time, so he'd have a sense of, do they look tired? Do they look fresh? I was surprised by how much they were practicing, and that may have been driven by the players. And when the players drive it, it's kind of hard to stop them, but that's what a coach has to do. You have to be like the parent and say, guys, you don't need to do this. We need to take a break. So I don't remember them practicing that much the previous year. Did they have the same jump in their legs? As Florida looked pretty on their toes. I thought the Oilers weren't quite there. And maybe part of that was just the emotional realization that they just weren't as good as the Panthers. But, this is something they can learn from, unfortunately, as they keep moving forward. And Knobloch can also learn, like, hey, we have to take days off. And you do, like after the one where they got crushed, remember they weren't supposed to practice. Then they did practice the next day. It would have practiced that day. I think it was a Wednesday. And then not practice Thursday at all. And then a morning skate Friday. But they surprised everyone, did practice that second day.
Yeah.
Which I think they might like to have back.
Stahl Zemtsi, I'm probably saying that wrong, but he says, anyone think the Oilers will sign Corey Perry for another year? He certainly indicated, it sounded like today, his desire to play one more year and that he wanted it to be in Edmonton. Do you think they'll find a way? And do you think what's the number? Where does it come in compared to last year?
Well, had a great year, almost 20 goals this year, and a kind of a third, fourth line minute number, which is great value. Corey Perry did say he wants to stay there. Let the higher ups, I think that's to use his words, talk about it. I think he comes back. I really think he does. But the cap number matters. The Oilers are up against it. Maybe it's another year where they have a base salary, then a bonus structure based on how much he plays and or scores, or maybe just scores. But I think he likes this group. I think he sees opportunity when there's injuries for him to pop up the lineup and play with, elite players, and he's a complement to that. So I believe he will be back. What do you think, Zoops?
I mean, it kind of sounds like it. It feels like, even though he's, at 40 years old, it seems pretty low risk if he's going to say, I'll come back for the same or just below. What did he have? What was he, 1.4 this year? Oh, you're muted there, bud.
I think it was bonus structure up to 1.7. I think that's how it worked out. I might be wrong, but somewhere in there.
If that's the case, I mean, the guy was worth every penny. 19 goals in the regular season and 10 in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. I don't see any reason to give him that or something darn close to it if you can. Or if you know it's his last year, load up some bonuses. I'd love to see him back again.
Yeah, I think I would expect him back, because I'm sure the team likes him, the player likes it, but they got to find the number that works.
Okay, here's an interesting. Now you might know more about this more than I do. This will just be straight opinion, but Travis Farquharson saying the Kane LTIR investigation pisses me off so much.
Oh,
Struddy, all I have to say about this is I'm a fan. I don't believe in referee conspiracies or even the LTIR thing, the way it gets used. I don't think it's other teams in the league conspiring against the Edmonton Oilers. But when this one gets investigated, and to my knowledge, none of the others used in this way have, this is the first time for me it's felt like this feels fishy.
I agree. And I saw that report. It was Frank Saravalli, I believe. And it just blows my mind. There was other players who came back the second game of the playoffs as well. Included in that was Matthew Tkachuk. And, he couldn't have played game 1. He couldn't have played game 82. Now, the difference there is I think they did have some cap space. They could have taken back because one of their players suspended for 20 games for using PEDs. So I'm very surprised by this. The guy had multiple surgeries over multiple months. And, just the fact that he came back at all, to me, is really impressive. So I can't see this going anywhere as far as any kind of punishment for the Oilers. It makes no sense to me at all.
One other note on Evander Kane. We had somebody here, MythX, saying this was directed at Schauger. Is it true there was a negative reaction in the room to how Kane played, acted in the Cup Final? You wouldn't know, you wouldn't, be there for that, but
yeah,
do you have any experience with, or is it possible that the guys were irked that they felt like something he did on or off the ice might have ticked some guys off in the room?
I'm not in that room. I've really no idea. I don't think anyone played their best in the final, or was able to play their best. Maybe let's give Florida the credit they deserve. I've talked a lot about Kane being moved potentially to free up cap space. So I'm not talking I'm moving him because of behavioral or anything like that. So that'd be more of a Schauger question for pods coming up. But when you lose in that, I remember losing, and I never lost a championship. I won twice when I was in junior, but I did lose playoff series, and there was a lot of frustration in that room after. Not so much pointer finger, but there's frustration in that room. So I could see maybe guys would get frustrated with each other, but I don't have a sense of what happened with Kane. That'd be something Schauger might have better insight on.
Okay, here's another. This just came up a couple times, and you won't have inside information on this either, but maybe you could just share some of your experience. There's more talk about, again, people want to talk about Dustin Schwartz and the goalie coach. Now, I don't think you know any of the inner workings here of what's going on with the Oilers, but maybe you could tell us from teams you've been on, how much interaction do you ever have with the goalie coach, or were you ever around when one was fired? And did you get a sense of, did it just come from, if the goalies are happy, we're good with this guy, or how much is it results based? Maybe you could shine some light on that.
A goalie coach has almost zero impact on the skaters, right? The only time that I had interaction with a goalie coach was A, they needed a shooter. Hey, Strider, we need a shooter. Come out early. Yes, I will do that. Or B, the interaction between the goalie and the D-man. How are you going to play certain situations? A 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, whatever, coming out of the corner, all that kind of stuff, power play. We would talk. But the goalie coach does not have any impact on the skaters at all that I've ever seen, because that's not his job. His job is the goalies. That's why he's called the goalie coach. It's not called the D-man coach or forward coach. But as far as that, I believe it's to be an intimate relationship between a goalie coach and the goalies. And he at times has to, push the goalies. At times he has to protect the goalies from the head coach if they're not playing well. So Dustin Schwartz has been there a long time, and he always has a good relation with Skinner. So there seems to be a lot of flux maybe in this group, with maybe Gullickson looking at, he was rumored to be perhaps going to interview with Dallas. Then you've got obviously Paul Coffey. Does he want to continue doing this? So there could be some changes in this group. But you have to remember, guys, you got 2 times to the Stanley Cup Final. Like, people want to tear down the whole castle because of what result. And it's frustrating. I get it. But this group, they did a lot of good things to get everyone to where they were. So Schauger, again, this is probably a question for Schauger, but let's be careful about tearing and trading everybody out. There's a lot of good things that happen with this roster.
Okay, last quick hockey one, and then a couple two quick fun ones, and we'll get everybody out of here. Harry over on X wants to know, and a bunch of people have asked this question in a bunch of different ways, but we'll just go with Harry's on X. He says, Struddy, do you think they'll do anything with the goalies? Do you think there's a goalie move? We've talked about this a little bit on the last pod. Do you think there's a goalie move brewing? And if so, when? Both guys are still under contract to start next season. There were some other people asking about, do you think it'll go until the deadline? There's not a bunch of great UFA goalies. What's your gut telling you about the goalie situation?
I believe they'll take a look at what they can do to improve it, to upgrade it. But to do a lateral move doesn't make any sense. I think both goalies would be tradable because of their cap hits. 2.2 for a backup or $1 million for a backup is nothing, especially for guys who have been to the Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row. Just think about that. So if you decide you want to bring someone else in, I believe there'd be a market for these two guys. The free agent market isn't that strong.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you probably have to trade for someone to bring them in. So would it be a swap? Would it be a 1B for Pickard, or would it be a higher a guy who's more of a true 1 for him being Skinner?
Right.
But the problem with that is that you're eating up more of your cap, and then you have less cap to do things with other areas of the game. So I think they're going to look into it. Do they do it for sure? I'm not sure, but I believe both those goalies are very tradable because of their cap hits. I think they're massively tradable.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Blommer wants to know, what's your favorite food to grill on the barbecue this summer?
Oh, I'm a steak guy, Blommer. Thank you for asking. And then I put the baked potatoes right on there too. I like when they're kind of burnt and gets a crispy outside. You know that feeling, Zoops?
Yeah, I love steaks. I'm not a big baked potato guy. I started doing corn on the grill, and that works actually really well too. You just got to keep turning them.
Yeah, corn. I just did that the other day. It's so good. It's so good. You get that little burn.
And how do you cook your steak?
I'm medium, pink through, no blood. What about you?
Yeah, I'm probably just a hair past medium.
Yeah,
definitely no blood.
I don't like bloody. No.
Burnt to a crisp or bloody as hell, right? Okay, and here's the last one. Penner's Pancakes. This is a good one to send you out on here, Struddy, of possibly your last show of the season. What goes on the perfect Struddy sub at Subway? We may have covered this before, but I think inquiring minds want to know.
Well, it's not on the board anymore, but I go spicy Italian, lettuce, green peppers, jalapenos, and pickles. And then 2 runs of sub sauce and 2 runs of mustard. Boom. Wrap that up. Coke on the way out, and I'm gone. What about you, Zoops?
Well, you know what? I believe variety is the spice of life. So I don't have a go-to. What did they have? What? They had something. Yeah, I don't have a go-to. I'm always changing it up. And I used to get the chicken breast with bacon. I don't know. I can't even remember now because I don't go there that often. But they had one that I was like all in on, and then they got rid of it. So they screwed me, and it's obviously it wasn't that good because I can't even remember. So yeah,
you must love it.
Yeah, it's all I can.
You know, my best My best friend's name.
Yeah.
You know that guy, my best friend. Yeah, you know him. You know the guy.
Haven't talked to him in 6 weeks, so I purged his name from my memory. So
I love it. All right. Thanks for all those comments, everybody. Let's get to play of the day. Brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient. With the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more, contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Today, Leon Draisaitl had his media availability, and his phone rang during it. And his reaction was so funny. He's like, oh, and he kind of looked guilty, and he looked down, and he saw who it was. Then he turned it on, or, whatever, hung up or whatever, or, dismissed the call and put it back in his pocket. But it is awkward when someone's phone goes off in those presses, because guys don't want to hear that. If you're recording, you don't want to hear someone's phone ringing. But when it's the player interviewing, it's way more funny than if it's Jason Strudwick in row 3 and his songs are Pennies in Heaven by Frank Sinatra. So good one. All right, guys, this is my last one for the year. I just want to thank you so much for giving us a chance to tell you what we feel and how we think, both here on Got Your Back, and Zuby and I. We're so proud of Struddy's Row. We really loved it. We can't wait to get that going next year. But I honestly, without you listeners, it wouldn't be the same. We run into you everywhere. You guys come up and tell us what you love and what you don't love, and thank you for that. We truly love being a part of it. Shogger, Brownie, Zuby will continue, and I'm sure some special guests. We'll bring you the changes at the draft and the free agency, and I'll be back in July, probably around the time Connor McDavid signs his extension. So honestly, thank you. I truly mean it. We love our listeners, and we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, pal. This is news to me. We're capping Struddy's World for this season too.
What I mean, someone might do. Maybe Shogger might do it next week, and I hope you guys do continue it on. But I won't be there. So,
okay. We'll do.
I do appreciate. Yeah,
my Wednesday just freed up. No, we'll do one when you get back.
That would be fun to recap everything. Maybe that's the idea. Actually, maybe that's the one. Let's do that. So anyways, everybody, thanks again. We all loved coming into your homes, into your ears as you walked the dogs and drove to work. So thanks a lot. It was a great year, and we can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to do it again next year, but the guys have got you through free agency, draft, and when McDavid signs. Talk to you guys all later. Any final thoughts, Zoobs?
No, just that I believe we're back. I believe the plan is to do a pod tomorrow after Bowman's availability. So we'll be back. Yeah. Struddy won't, unfortunately, but we will be back tomorrow night, I believe.
Brownie, Zuby, and Shogger will get you that. And we're going to be interested to see what Bowman has to say. All right, buddy. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow night, we're back. We'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy your trip, pal.
Thanks.